Go ahead.
Thank you. All right. I would like to call to order this meeting of Orangeville Town Council for Monday, September 26, 2022. Could we start with a motion to approve the agenda? Councillor Sherwood, seconded by Councillor Andrews. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Taylor. We heard you. Any disclosures of direct or indirect pecuniary interest? Being none. If we could move on to our national anthem, Mr. Hawkins.
I apologize. I've lost the file. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Come on.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you to David Nairn, Artistic Director of Theatre Orangeville. We would like to acknowledge the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe people, including the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, and Odawa of the Three Fires Confederacy. This meeting is being aired on public television and our stream live and may be taped for later public broadcast or webcast. Your name is part of the public record and will be included in the minutes of this meeting. Any member of the public connecting via telephone is reminded to press *6 to mute and unmute. Please remain muted until the chair requests comments or questions from the public. Well, tonight is my final council meeting. I've been very proud to serve the municipality and to work with my council colleagues and town staff. I wanted to recap some of the accomplishments of this council. I hope you'll bear with me. It's pretty lengthy. It's probably going to take me about 10 minutes to run through this, but as I reviewed everything this afternoon, I thought how remarkable it was to get all of this work done in this crazy, tumultuous time, the chaos of the pandemic and some of the other issues that we're confronting council and staff. So let me get started here. So this has been a remarkable 4 years, and I wanted to start again by thanking my council colleagues for restoring respect and decorum within the council chambers. Some people have thanked me personally for this. My response has been, what this council did was restore normalcy. You know, the way we dealt with each other is the way it's supposed to be. And I'm really proud to say and say thank you to my council colleagues, because you know, this is normal. This isn't unusual. This is the way council should operate. And I'm very proud of what we've done. You know, it would be nice if society in general would consider restoring respect and dignity. I'm afraid things are falling in that way. But treating fellow council members, town staff, or residents with civility should not be seen as unusual. Council is an entity that is concerned with governance and policy. The day-to-day operations of the town are led by the CAO and his senior management team. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with Ed Brennan over the past 4 years. The CAO position carries with it much responsibility and requires a deep knowledge of a variety of governmental and business issues. Not only did Ed hold a steady rudder on the good ship Orangeville, but he deftly handled the once-in-a-lifetime additional responsibilities and stress of the OPP costing and transition, the sale of the real estate assets of the Orangeville Railway Development Corporation, and the chaos brought to town operations due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Many thanks to Ed for his guidance, friendship, and no-nonsense approach. Ray Osmond has been an important member of the senior management team and most recently taken on the mantle of CAO during Mr. Brennan's absence. Ray brings an effervescence and joie de vivre to this important role. I'd also like to thank the other senior managers who have worked closely with myself and this council, including former clerk Susan Greatrix and Karen Landry, our current town clerk Carolina Kahn, former GMs of infrastructure Doug Jones and Gary Koselek, and current GM of infrastructure Tim Koselek. GM of corporate services Andrew McKinney has been instrumental in guiding the digital transformation of the corporation, the town of Orangeville. Treasurer Nandini Syed has consistently produced budgets that were clear and concise, were palatable to town residents and council. Her team has won multiple international awards for their budget presentations, and in a stroke of genius early in our council term, Nandini negotiated an interim borrowing strategy which became very useful with the OPP transition. Ruth Phillips has kept the town's reputation as a cultural and entertainment hub intact through very difficult times and continued to advocate for businesses and economic development. Many thanks to the balance of town staff, too numerous to name, who through tumultuous times kept this town running. The municipal government touches the lives of town residents much more than other levels of government. I'd like to take a few minutes to recap the amazing work that town staff and this council has done on behalf of the residents of Orangeville. In the first meeting of council on December 10th, 2018, a very busy agenda included two extremely important initiatives. The first was bringing to the end a 15-year battle with the town of Amaranth over the Pullen Well. This council did what others could not. That is, solve the drinking water supply problem for the town of Orangeville for the long term. The other issue put on the table that day was asking for another OPP costing review. The OPP decision was one of the easiest decisions I've ever made. With the support of the CAO, the town treasurer, and the independent consultant, OPP was the only decision that could be made. Since that decision on December 2nd, 2019, the town of Orangeville and all of Dufferin County has had a higher level of police services, complemented by greater resources for less money. It's a unicorn. Improved service for a lower cost. The morale of the uniformed officers is up. There are many more opportunities for police officers within this larger organization. The decision was a win-win-win. In no particular order, this council initiated the following actions for the greater good of our community. Under the COVID-19 pandemic, council supported our medical officer of health and provincial leaders as public health officials planned the best course of action against COVID-19. We provided financial relief to our residents, businesses, and sports organizations during the pandemic. Under long-term care, we knew that we needed more state-of-the-art long-term care in southern Dufferin County. We reduced development charges to attract LTC developers and incentivize LTC development. The Avalon is proceeding with upgrading their facility, and Primacare is still interested in developing a portion of the Humberlands. The pandemic shone a light on the need for better long-term care. Under emergency services, we directed staff to purchase land and move forward with a new fire hall and emergency operations center, ensuring the long-term sustainability of our fire service and emergency response. We also relieved the taxpayer of the burden of the Orangeville-Brampton Railway, placing $32 million in the town's treasury. In addition to this windfall, we have continued to strengthen our reserve funds. Town is in a very healthy financial position. As I mentioned our treasurer, we returned 4 budgets from 2019 through 2022 with an average of a 1.03 annual increase. This is compared to a 2.5% average inflation rate over the same period of time. Under public transit, we improved our public transit system by acquiring better equipment and approving the building of a new transit hub and scheduled improvements to our route system, in addition to launching a free transit program in 2023. Under sustainability, this council continued to support Sustainable Orangeville and the Sustainable Neighborhood Action Plan, including improving our tree canopy, starting an urban gardening program, and directing staff to move forward and move toward the electrification of our vehicle fleet. We became a bee city, supporting the creation of pollinator gardens and joined the Global Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy. We also won some national awards from the Communities in Bloom organization. Under infrastructure, we upgraded the sewage treatment plant when critical digesters failed. We approved the expenditure to upgrade our water meter system, virtually eliminating in the future overbilling because of immediate notification of anomalies. We completed the Mill Creek Rehabilitation Plan, beautifying that area and helping with flood mitigation. And we've just completed the long overdue improvements to Centennial Road and the intersection of Dawson and Centennial. Under fiber infrastructure, the agreement with Whiteman Telecom, where they agreed to invest $66 million in Orangeville, is a key improvement to our local infrastructure. Installing high-speed, future-proof fiber throughout our town will help with business attraction, business retention, and work and study from home forever. We also supported skilled trades as a career path. Recently, Dufferin Board of Trade had a Dream Dufferin Skilled Trades Conference, and this council supported with financial and in-kind donation. On the issue of men's homelessness, a committee was formed and we shone a light on this problem. There have been now additional resources available to men who find themselves in this situation. Under housing and residential development, there were several residential developments that have been started or approved, including 17 Center Street, 308 Broadway, the Orangeville Highlands land, the Cache Hansen project, 690 Broadway, 105 Spencer, 62 to 68 First Street townhouses, bringing many hundreds of residential units and hundreds of millions of dollars in residential development to Orangeville. Under bylaw updates, we updated the election sign bylaw to stop the proliferation of election signs. We updated the taxi and ride sharing bylaw, and of course updated recently the towing bylaw. In our downtown, we've improved our downtown core with the Broadway Bricks project, projected building projects to invigorate our downtown core include the improvements to Alexandra Park, a new condo building at Wellington and Broadway, and a proposed new building and parking structure at 82 Broadway and 86 to 90 Broadway. Traffic safety has been an important issue that this council has taken on. We've implemented parking on one side of the street to ensure safe and timely passage of emergency vehicles. Speed limits on many residential streets were reduced to 40 kilometers per hour, and other traffic calming measures, including additional stop signs, were implemented and will continue to be reviewed from time to time. Under Parks and Recreation, our trail system has been substantially improved. There was an incredible upgrade to Harvey Curry Park, including a new splash pad and children's play area. We've approved the repair, reinforcement, and expansion of the Alder Recreation Pool. Under community outreach, we had Jurassic Park on Mill Street during the Toronto Raptors championship run, the outdoor concert series that won an award from Festivals and Events Ontario, the recent Walk Off the Earth concert, and the comeback event of 2022, the Orangeville Blues and Jazz Festival. The town is providing resources for this year's Santa Claus Parade, with the BIA taking the organizational lead. And let's remember the continuing hard work that the BIA and the Dufferin Board of Trade puts in on behalf of tourism and economic development in Orangeville. We had an agreement with Community Living Dufferin to give support to CLD as they give work experience to some of their clients and create a potential income source for their organization. We made national news with our rainbow crosswalks and our Indigenous crosswalk, adding color, improving safety, and respecting the symbolism and meaning of both of those projects. Under digital transformation, we improved our communication to our residents with projects like our new website and Data Orangeville. And the clerk's department has been working hard on digitizing mountains of paperwork, so the municipality is up to date with access to historical documents. We even did an upgrade on daycare. The transformation of the Gene Hamlin Daycare Center from a revenue neutral property into a positive cash flow property for the municipality, with the continuation of top level daycare services by YMCA with no disruption to the families involved. Believe it or not, this is not the complete list of improvements to our town under this council. Completing this impressive list of accomplishments takes a special group of people working collectively for the greater good. It's just that simple. Once again, I want to thank this council for its diligence, research, common sense, and to our incredible staff for paving the way to accomplish so much during this tumultuous time in human history. Best wishes to those who will be elected on October 24th. There is still much to accomplish. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on. We have adoption of minutes from previous meetings. So if I could have a motion on those two items, please, 10.1 and 10.2. Deputy Mayor McIntosh, seconded by Councillor Andrews. All in favor? Thank you. Moving on to item 11, we have presentations, petitions, and delegations. Number one on the list is Mr. Ray Osmond, our acting CEO. Mr. Osmond.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, Council. A big evening for sure. The last council meeting. I'm going to try to capture a few things. The mayor certainly gone through a pretty exhaustive list, and he's taken a few off of my list, so that'll shorten things up. I know he's quite excited today to get his list finished, so it's kind of nice to see it all. And quite frankly, it is a pretty heavy duty agenda that was covered. So I got to say it's been a wonderful piece of work. I want to try to capture something to kind of frame what I'm going to say, if I could, from a wonderful person, a wonderful human being that we all know, Mahatma Gandhi. And he said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And so on behalf of the entire Town of Orangeville corporate team, and especially on behalf of CAO Ed Brennan, who certainly would wish to be here, I want to extend a very sincere thank you to you, Mayor Brown, to Deputy Mayor McIntosh, to Councillors Andrews, Post, Sherwood, Taylor, and Peters, for giving of yourself in service to all those who live, work, and visit this wonderful community that we love, Orangeville. And it's been 4 years. I got to tell you, it's been a fast 4 years. Time really flew by, and I'm sure you agree with me on that. It has been a distinct pleasure, not just for me, but for all staff. And we're very honored to have worked with you and with the it's been an entirely new council. It's kind of interesting, actually, how quickly you've adapted and took up the helm and really ran with things. And, you should be very proud of all the work, of course, that was done. Your commitment, and I've said this many times, your commitment, your dedication, your work ethic, your willingness to learn as much as possible about what's involved in running a corporation the size and magnitude of Orangeville is a true testament, I think, to not only your professionalism, but also your passion for this community and to all you have served. I want to wish the outgoing Mayor Brown and Councillor Peters every success in all your future endeavors. And we're really going to miss you, actually. I know you know that. And I also want to extend to all the councillors that are running again for whatever roles, other roles, mayor roles, for deputy mayor roles and councillor roles going forward. I want to wish you all every success It is a huge, huge challenge for everyone to take on in a community, and you're to be congratulated for that. But I want to reach out to all your families and extend a special thank you to them for supporting not only you, but this community as you went about your work as councillors and as a deputy mayor and as mayor. Without their support, I'm sure you agree, you can't do these kinds of things. And we really acknowledge that, your families that really take on behind the scenes what it takes to be in your position. The mayor has covered lots of things here, so I'm going to not get into all the detail. But as you know, we follow a strategic plan, what we call the work plan. And you've been following that now for 4 years. And we've had several priority courses, and the mayor's touched on lots of them, whether it's financial, whether it's asset management, budget planning, the taxation, and how that all functions, enhanced communication, engagement with the public, the collaboration and new partnerships, the digital transformation that's been alluded to and that's been taken on by our corporate services team and all of our staff, particularly with Andrea McKinney, and I'll get into her a little later, and her support, her skill, and leadership that's helped to evolve this community much further, if you would, along the digital continuum. You also worked on our behalf and on behalf of the community in a lot of safe and healthy community initiatives. The mayor's mentioned quite a few of those, whether it's fire, whether it's OPP, whether it's our emergency plan that we finished and we worked on in all of our operation, as well as our buildings. Lots of them got behind the scenes that you probably don't get a chance to see. Tremendous leadership, not just by staff, but also by this council. And as the mayor spoke to, COVID pandemic was an extreme challenge for all of us. We didn't sign on for it, of course. It wasn't something on our list, but we took it on and put the shoulder into it. All of us did as a collective council staff. And we managed to get through it all with the ability not only to take on the challenge, but to plan for future challenges because of it. So we learned a lot. We really learned a lot. And we'll get into the sustainability plan, the SNAP plan in a little while. We'll talk about that. I want to talk just briefly about tourism. And we've done a lot of work on to increase our tourism going forward. You've laid the groundwork, the seed, if you would, for that. And I think this community will see a lot of new initiatives in our tourism area for our business community. In recreation, in cycling, and all the good things that comes with trail systems and so on and so forth. I think that you've laid the groundwork for that as well. The recreation master plan that you completed, the recreation parks master plan, also we've been using as a tool and as a work plan now and into the future. Again, that groundwork has been laid. So again, as staff, we are very grateful. And we feel privileged to have worked and had the opportunity to work and to support you as a council and mayor and a council. And your commitment and your focus is taking a lot of focus. In 4 years, it's fast. A lot of things get triggered quickly, and your ability to adapt and focus on getting to the goals that were set and the priorities. You didn't go off target. You just kept your shoulder into it, and you did it, and you succeeded. And we're very thankful for that. I want to finish with another wonderful quote by Gandhi, because I often wonder sometimes when people take on the roles that you take on, you take it on for all kinds of great reasons. But I think this might kind of finish it off for me, and hopefully it leaves you something to think about. And for those that are going forward to continue in your capacity as councillors or deputy mayors and mayors, be the change that you wish to see in the world. And I think I'll leave you with that. I do, Mr. Mayor, your mayor, your worship, have a few comments a little later on at in the other business. I want to speak to our colleague and good friend, Andrea McKinney, when I get to that point, and I'm going to leave her just kind of hanging there because I want to. And I just leave this little note for her. She'll understand. We'll talk about the dance floor. So thank you very much again, council. It's been a pleasure, and have a great evening. Thank you.
Ray, thank you for your kind words, Ray. All very much appreciated by everybody on council. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to 11.2. I'd like to welcome our good friend Heather Hayes from the Orangeville Food Bank. Ms. Hayes.
Hey guys, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Thank you so much for having me. Sandy, I didn't realize it was your last. Sorry, I apologize, Mayor. We know you as Sandy in our neck of the woods. We're so pleased that you've been doing the work that you've done for the food bank, for the community, for all those that you serve, and you've done it with a lot of grace, and we appreciate that. So thanks so much for that. And I know it's a busy time. Election is coming up, and that doesn't. That it means a lot of door knocking. So I ran into one of you at a function this weekend, and I was reminded that perhaps my speeches are getting a bit dated. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit, I think, tonight. So anyways, so good evening. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do for the community. I very much appreciate it. We all do. So I'm here because 30 years ago, a group of women came together to support their community and formed the Orangeville Food Bank. 30 years of community working together, volunteers offering their time and skill, and donors ensuring that we have the means to feed those in need. We have marked this milestone honoring those who have come before us and planning for our future with a new strategic plan. Our new strategic plan envisions a well-nourished community, not just a community without hunger. I looked up the definition of nourish, and it is provide with the food or other substances necessary for growth, health, and good condition. We can ensure that everyone in our community who is hungry is fed. We have enough rice, oatmeal, and beans to make that happen. It would cost pennies in comparison to our current budget, but it would not contribute to growth, health, or good condition. Food should be a right and not a privilege. You've heard me say this many times, but it is quickly becoming a privilege, more so than at any other time. In August of 2021, we saw 627 individuals accessing the food bank. Last month, August of 2022, we saw 864 people accessing the food bank. That is almost a 40% increase in those needing support. And we know from tracking stats that that increase will track over the winter months as individuals struggle to manage school expenses, utility costs, not to mention the holidays. I started off a presentation a few weeks ago with, and here's breaking things up a little bit. My name is Heather Hayes. I run the Orangeville Food Bank. We need money, and the system's crap. So it got a laugh, but it also struck a chord. Inflation is hitting everyone, and we see that reflected in the dramatic increase in the use of food banks across the country. I just finished filling out a survey for Food Banks Canada, trying to take a gauge on the health and sustainability of food banks just for the next month. That's how tough it's getting right now. When I set my food budget this year, we were anticipating an increase. Absolutely, we knew it was coming, but not 40%. That is the reality going forward for us. And as a wise man once said at a council table, you cannot take away something that you have given. We can't take away 4 liters of milk per child. That's 4 liters of milk per month. Much better than what we used to do, but it's still 4 liters. And I'm going to guess that all of your kids drink more than that in a month. I can't take away the 4 pounds of protein that I can give a family right now because I've doubled up on my proteins. But that's still only 4 pounds a month, right? Most people, that's not a week. And I can't take away the fresh fruits and vegetables, which for so many are prohibitive by the cost in the grocery stores. We often say to people, come and use us for those kinds of things and get dried goods at other places, save your money where you can. So it's not easy out there right now. And I referred to the system as crap because it is. In no reality should people have to come to a food bank to get food. In no reality should I have to be in charge of what they get, or anybody else for that matter. And it takes a toll on every person that comes through our food bank. So you ask yourself, how can I help, Heather? Well, here, let me tell you. So what can we do to help? A few things. So I'm going to be bold, and I'm getting bolder. It turns out when you're a grandmother, you really don't care anymore. You're just in it to win it all the time. So here I go. So I'm asking you to put us in the budget. We aren't a frill. We are an essential service that is funded primarily through donors. I'm going to quote my mom here. It's funny how she gets smarter the older I get. Mom reminded me many times, you don't value what you don't pay for. We've been a dependable source of support for those in need for 30 years. We are creative in our programming, in getting food out to seniors through our markets, creating meals in-house with rescued foods, supporting food programs across the county, and building partnerships with numerous community agencies. When we are needed, we step up. But we need dedicated funding to ensure that we can keep doing what we do best, and that's feed people. The second thing, housing. We need affordable units. I heard you talking about the housing that you've increased in town, and that's fantastic, but we need affordability. A person on Ontario Works receives $733 a month, all in, rent, food, clothing, medications, all the kit and caboodle. They're allotted out of that $733, $390 a month for rent. A family of 4 is allotted $756 a month for rent. Ontario Disability Plan allots $497 for a single person for rent. I was paying $650 for rent when I started working in '88. I haven't seen a place for rent under, $800 for maybe a room. We see people here having to live 2, 3, and 4 to a motel room, and that is not an exaggeration, just to be able to live. We have seniors being forced out of the community that they've grown up with because they can't afford rent anywhere. I could go on and on about people living in their vehicles coming to see us, about people having to give up their rental homes because they're being sold. It's a really difficult time right now. C, advocate for a basic income. This one's really quick. The studies have been done. The math has been worked out. It just needs to happen. We've just got to make it happen. So we have to keep poking people about it to get that back on the table. And this very last one, I sit with an incredible group of volunteers once a month. We call them the A-team here. And I asked them, I knew I was presenting to council, what did they want me to communicate to you? And this is what they came up with. Regulate payday loan operations. And I quote, Section 347 of the Criminal Code of Canada sets the maximum allowable annualized interest that may be charged at 60%. Interest charged above that level is considered, and I hope I get this right, usury, and it is a criminal offense. Those with no resources can only turn to payday loans when they need emergency funds like a prescription, a car repair, food, whatever it is. It's just not right. So I said I was getting bolder this year, and I am. The food bank lives in many of our hearts, and it lives there because we know what the need is, and we know that we have to keep this going. We'd love not to be here, but until we have a better solution, we need to be here. So I'll leave you with a quote. The test of a democracy is not the magnificence of buildings or the speed of automobiles or the efficiency of air transportation, but rather the care given to the welfare of all of the people. Helen Keller, 1880 to 1968. So that's my speech. And when I ask for money, I put in a request for $20,000 a few months ago. I'd like council to look at dedicated funding for the food bank to ensure we can keep doing what we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Whoever gets elected on October 24th is going to be into a budget deliberation fairly quickly. Expanding our community grant program is an option that the future council could consider. I think we all love what you're doing, and we're all concerned about those who are using your facility. So I'm sure you're going to get cooperation going forward from the new council. I'm quite certain of it. So, but thank you again for your presentation, your continued advocacy, and some of the issues you brought forward. They're multifaceted. They involve all levels of government. they involve,
Yes. Mhm.
you know, it's, I think we will try and do the best we can going forward for you and your group. So thank you. All right. Oh, yes, Councillor Taylor, go right ahead.
Yes, thank you, sir. I would like to just come clean if I could and let everybody know that that was me who did my excellent Rich Little on Heather Hayes over the weekend at an event we were at. And I imitated her only because I find those presentations interesting, inspiring, and they're fun and they're serious all at the same time. And Heather, just so you know, as someone who hopes to sit here again, I made some notes, and I appreciated all the extra you put into that, and you're spot on. I mean, a lot of those things are big. Anyway, kudos to you and your team, and message received about budget time. And personally, certainly need more details and understanding, but I can't imagine why we wouldn't participate in such a thing. So, thank you again. You really are. I was joking, but you really are inspiring, and I greatly appreciate what you do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heather, for joining us. All the best.
Take care. Be well.
All right, moving on. We have item 11.3, Mr. Bill Ray. Welcome, Mr. Ray. Our condolences. We understand you've lost a family member, and our sincere condolences to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Really appreciate that. And I also wanted to start by also congratulating council on everything that it's achieved in this term. And the fact that you've been able to do it in a civil manner has been refreshing. And, you know, as you said, Mayor Brown, and I wish everybody all the success in your future pursuits, whether it be a council or otherwise. So good evening.
You froze up there, Bill.
Come closer.
Yeah, you froze up there for a bit, Bill. So
Okay, am I all right now?
yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so you may recall that back in March, the CEO and I were here to introduce the 14 recommendations that were put forth in the long-term business and branding strategy, and we provided you with a sneak peek of our new logo. So since then, the steering committee, which consists of myself, 2 public members, Sherry Marks and Shelley Bergant, along with the vice chair.
Bill, we're losing you there. May I suggest maybe you turn your camera off? Maybe we'll be able to hear you then.
Okay, is that any better?
Yeah, that's great.
I'm almost
Thank
done,
you.
and actually I'm going to throw it over to Sherry here in a second here. So,
Okay.
yeah, we have an event happening at Mill Street on this Saturday, October the 1st, to launch our new brand, and we hope to see you all there. And with that, I'll turn it over to steering committee member Sherry Marks, who will fill in the details.
Thank you, Bill, and welcome, Sherry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. Thank you very much, Bill. I'm assuming everyone can hear me just fine.
Yes.
Excellent, thanks. I'm Sherry Marks, resident, proud public member serving on the Orangeville Public Library Board since 2019. And it's my pleasure to offer council the very first glimpse into our long-term vision and plan developed out of the work we've been doing. We have a couple of short videos to share this evening, and being mindful that this is the last meeting of this council, we will be brief. This branding really speaks to the new vision. The library is a place for everyone to connect and discover, and where learning and possibility allows each member to soar. The new logo is a visual indicator of a broader transformation as we shift the focus from collections to connections, a very distinct differentiation there. The implementation plan represents a long-term investment in the coming years. However, the board believes now is the time for a strategic investment in library services. Based on the results of the community engagement survey done last year, the board has responded with a detailed rationale and an achievable plan for the library to take a lead as a dynamic space in our town for everyone to benefit from. Our library space can and will be used for building and sustaining community, championing inclusivity, encouraging literacy in all its forms, all while fostering a lifelong love of learning. The plan has been prepared to reflect the foundational beliefs and values of the board, as well as the direction provided by the steering committee based on their consideration of the recommendations presented in the Orangeville Public Library long-term business and branding strategy. Everything is built on our values and strategic directions, culminating in our new logo. So our values include inclusivity, curiosity, lifelong learning, intellectual freedom, and trust. Our goals and objectives all fit within these three strategic directions of connect, discover, and soar. The results of the community engagement indicated that there is a high level of satisfaction with our library programs and services, but the community would like to see more technology, more non-traditional items, more digital services, and more programs. The board has a plan to grow all of these services, as well as introduce more programs, more new programs. So thank you for your continued support of our library. We will close with our positioning statement video. However, Bill, Darla, and I are here to take questions or hear any comments you have. And also thank you so very much for your time this evening.
The Orangeville Public Library is integral to sustaining and enhancing the educational and cultural fabric of the town of Orangeville and its surrounding communities. Our friendly, highly trained staff provide excellent service to our visitors, engaging programming, and a myriad of enriching experiences. Dedicated to serving the needs of all residents, we are committed to providing a complete range of traditional library services, as well as access to new technologies and innovations. Our two physical locations are coupled with a dynamic online presence that together give our patrons access to so much more than just books. The Orangeville Public Library is a dynamic space for building.
Okay, thank you, Sherry. Council members, any questions or comments for Ms. Marks, Mr. Ray, or Ms. Fraser? Councilor Andrews, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like
Perhaps
to just
we
take
could
a
stop
moment
sharing the screen if possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to just take a moment to thank Chair Ray and Ms. Fraser and Ms. Marks for their presentation this evening, and congratulations on the presentation in the documentation provided to Council. Truly enamored by the number of residents who participated in the survey. Having a sample size of that size for our community really validates the outcome and what was presented. So much that no doubt other members of council will end up applauding you on. And I really like, of course, the direction from collection to connection. That means a lot to our society today. I've had a number of people within the community, as I've spoken to, and again, some educators, myself, of course, from that side of the desk as well, about the makerspace and how that is going to progress. And so just out of curiosity, where we are with that today and where will it end up?
Harry, did you want to take that?
Oh, Darla, I think I'll leave it over to you.
Okay, we have received, the library was a successful recipient of a Commonwealth Leaf grant for over $30,000. We have some equipment ordered. We do plan to take the space that was previously used by a previous tenant for a computer lab, currently being used by public health for their clinic upstairs. We will be setting up the equipment in there, and certainly as part of our ask this year is to hire somebody with those skills to make the equipment really come alive and help both businesses and local residents and groups learn from an experiential point of view for with hands-on to the equipment.
Thank you, Ms. Fraser. A great addition to the library, and I know that those that may be visionaries who want to get, of course, maybe some ideas, maybe from not only an innovation perspective, but maybe to reality, will have that opportunity in the makerspace. Congratulations on that initiative and all the other things that were presented tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. All right, and thank you to the library folks for the presentation today. Moving on to staff reports, 12.1. This is a recommendation that the report CMS 2022-023, a lease extension for Highlands Youth for Christ, be received. And the council directs staff to extend the lease agreement with the corporation of the town of Orangeville and Highlands Youth for Christ for an additional 5-year term. And the council pass a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the necessary agreement. Could we have a motion to put this on the table? Councillor Peters, second by Councillor Taylor. Any questions on this, council? All in favor? Thank you. Moving on to 12.2. This is a recommendation that the report CPS 2022-064 regulatory bylaw review work plan be received and the staff continue with the completion of the following bylaws in 2023. Parks and special events, tow truck licensing, animals, hens pilot program, lawn watering, traffic, including encumbering highway, road occupancy, sale of goods, Montgomery Village, and fouling of a highway, topsoil removal, discharge of water into sanitary and storm sewer, and the staff submit a service level change request for the review of additional regulatory bylaws in 2023 for consideration by council. Could I have a motion on that, please? Councillor Post, second by Councillor Andrews. Any questions, council? Councillor Taylor.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I guess it's not really a question, it's more of a statement. I feel like this council's been through it and it's probably just best to wait till post the election. Either I'll be a citizen or I will be on council, and I would prefer that the noise bylaw be brought into 2023, and I know that'll mean choices. It'll mean choices about resources within our department, and also mean potentially choices about something moving in. And I just want to seed that with folks now. I think it's super important and it's timely, and that's where my head's at for next term.
Thank you, Councillor. All right, all in favor of this recommendation? Thank you. Moving on to 12.3, this is a recommendation that report CPS 2022-068 council tasks be received. Could I have a motion to receive this, please? Deputy Mayor McIntosh, Councillor Sherwood, seconding. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Thank you. 12.4, a recommendation that report INS 2022-059 Sustainable Neighborhood Action Plan Progress Report 2022 be received. Can we have a motion to put this on the floor, please? Councillor Peters, second by Councillor Taylor. Any questions or comments? Councillor Peters.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Through you, I was wondering if council would entertain a small amendment to the motion. As you know, when we approved the SNAP, we asked for an update within a certain time frame. I think it's, it was delayed obviously due to other complications, and I'm very pleased that we got to see this update before the term ended. I'm wondering if council would be open to setting the date for the next update. Our original target was 2 years, and so I would say by, call it Q4 2024, having a subsequent update on the SNAP, just so council and staff and citizens kind of know what's going on and what our progress is.
I think that's a good idea, Councillor Peters. Would somebody like to second that amendment? Councillor Taylor. All right, let's vote on the proposed amendment. All in favor? Very good. And then let's vote on the overall recommendation. All in favor? Thank you very much. 12.5. Recommendation that the report INS 2022-060 Hanson Boulevard Creek Crossing construction update be received. Can we have a motion to put this on the floor, please? Councillor Sherwood, second by Councillor Andrews. Mr. Koselleck, would you like to weigh in here and just give us a short review on this, sir?
Certainly. Good evening,
you.
Council. Through the mayor, I'd like to explain that the tender was issued in May of 2022 to construct the bridge. Construction started in July 2022, and it's anticipated to be completed by the end of the year. There's been some delays with environmental aspects of it. I think the piles we're putting in have to go deeper than anticipated. Some other works are being done, but the bridge is anticipated to be constructed by the end of the year. The developer will be constructing the road. They have the design started, and they're integrating it as part of their development. They're also looking at doing a topsoil stripping plan to be able to start getting the road and the development area ready for construction, which is anticipated to start in early 2023. The road construction will include the servicing and also the construction of the road, and it's anticipated to be completed by the end of 2023. So once Hanson's open, then we'll be able to open the road to use for residents.
Well, this has been the bane of our existence for 4 years. So I'm very happy to hear that, Mr. Koselleck, that that progress has been made. So thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments, councillors? Councillor Taylor.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Mr. Koselleck. Just curious, like we've already had worst case scenario happen, and now we're saying the end of the year. What would that look like potentially? Like, what's the plus minus delta? And I, as someone who's done extensive renovations, I know that's a really unfair question, but what would we be looking at worst case? Like, are we June of 2024, or is that just too pessimistic?
That could be a worst case, summer 2024 construction completion. I guess with our staff looking at it, we expect the road to be constructed in 2023, with maybe the finishing, landscaping, sod being done in 2024. But we expect the road to be functional by the end of 2023. Unless COVID Part 2 happens and we have supply chain issues again, but right now that's the way everything looks for us.
If I may, Your Worship.
Go ahead, sir.
Just, Mr. Koselleck, just so we understand, I mean, the questions are fast and furious, and I certainly do appreciate your timely update. What is the issues with supply chain? Like, what are the specific things that are causing us pain points or pinch points?
Through the chair, part of the issue is even supplying the metal. Concrete's gone up an awful lot. One of the big things out there, we have piling going in to support the bridge. Originally, the design had 5-meter piles, so they'd put sort of H piles, they call them, which is a metal rod they put in the ground to give support for the bridge. It was being designed to be 5 meters. Now it's looking like once they're putting them in, we'll have to go about 9 meters, maybe 10 meters. So there's a certain resistance, you want to hammer them down, but even getting those materials, it takes a while to get things in. So, and just the access, it's not the greatest area sometimes to get into work. If you do have wet weather, that does delay things also.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Did we put this on the floor, or did I ask Mr. Koselleck first? Madam Clerk, do you guys remember? Forget.
I don't have a motion noted for that just yet, Mr. Mayor.
Could we have a motion to receive this report? Councillor Taylor, seconded by Councillor Andrews. Any further questions of Mr. Koselleck? No. All in favor? Very good. Thank you. Moving on to 13, correspondence. We've got a number of items of correspondence, 13.1 through 13.5. Could we have a motion to receive those items, please? Councillor Taylor, second by Councillor Post. Any comments on any of these? Deputy Mayor McIntosh, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Just in regards to 13.2, the land acknowledgement, I brought this up at County Council 3 or 4 years ago when they first decided what they were going to use for land acknowledgement. We have 2 or 3 different land acknowledgements out there. So this is a way for Dufferin County is looking into bringing them all together, because Orangeville's is different than the county, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And I believe Orangeville Theatre is different again. I'm not sure about. I know there's 2 or 3 different land acknowledgements, so that's why this is on the docket.
Good. All right, any other questions or comments, council? All in favor of receiving these? Thank you. Moving on to 14, we have board minutes. July 5th, 2022 Sustainable Orangeville minutes and July 26th, 2022 Heritage Orangeville minutes. Could we have a motion to receive those minutes, please? Councillor Sherwood, second by Councillor Peters. Any questions or comments, council? All in favor? Thank you. Any notices of motion at meeting? Councillor Post.
I'm not sure if notice of motion is the right place to have this conversation, but I'm going to bring it up here anyways, and we'll see where it goes. Over the weekend, particularly, I spent some time on Alder Street and in the area after hearing from some concerned residents about the placement of the new stop sign. It has been placed as per our last council meeting at Alder and Sherwood, and the location of it is causing a bit of grief. The other thought from residents is that Glengarry is where the children are stopping or crossing, sorry, for school, and it's the busier spot when it comes to pedestrian traffic. So I don't know what the right move is right now. I know with it being our last meeting of council, I'm not sure how we proceed. I have reached out to Mr. Koselak to get some feedback, and unfortunately, Mr. Lackey is not here today to weigh in as well. But I just wanted to put it out to council that maybe we made a mistake when we chose Sherwood as the location, and maybe Glengarry is the better location. And I just love to hear from my fellow councillors on what your thoughts are, kind of as we move forward. And I apologize for the awkwardness of it being in the last meeting that we're doing this, but it was just installed last week. So,
well, maybe a motion to direct staff to look into the issue and come back to council at the, perhaps the next council meeting might be a motion that we could approve tonight and waive notice of. Right. Councillor Taylor, go ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Councillor Post, for that. I too have had similar discussions with people, and I've walked around in that area as well. I've also spoken with Mr. Koselak about it, and the frustrating piece, I guess, for us is it went in based on our benevolence. We were trying to solve a problem. What our discussion was is, okay, it's in. It's an awkward time now. It feels like we need to kind of let this play out, let that stop sign sit, and then have it reviewed after a period of time. And that's how we left it. So it certainly could come back to the new council, but it was like, let's just give this a rest for a little bit and see. But if you do walk the area, the issue is Sherwood was the main street that caused all the traffic. And that, based on the warrants, is why it was positioned there. But when you walk there, it does look like it should be at the other intersection, and it's hard to argue that when you view it and walk the neighborhood and have those conversations. So it might be a very easy solve. It's just, I'm wondering if it's now, or do we wait and let the new council weigh in on that?
Before I go to Councillor Andrews, maybe I could ask Mr. Koselak for his advice.
Yeah, through the chair. We did look at the bylaw. It was based more on the traffic volumes more than the pedestrian warrants. So we are looking at it a little bit. I know Mr. Lackey was a big part of preparing the report for that. So we will follow up with him and get more information. And we can bring back a follow-up report to council if you'd like. It has only been installed for about a week or two, so it may be a changing in the dynamic of the way people drive and the way people walk. It is only about 200 meters difference between the two locations, so maybe a chance to be able to see how it does evolve in time once people get used to it a little bit, and then we can bring something back to a future meeting with more information and more options.
Very good, thank you. Councillor Andrews.
Thank you, Your Worship, and adding to my 2 cents on this, I just coincidentally happened to be in the area on personal matter and witnessed some of the things that both the Councillor Post and Councillor Taylor had spoken about. But to Mr. Koselak's point, sometimes you have to give something some time for people to get used to. So as has been discussed, maybe this is something that can be certainly brought back to the new council when it sits.
I think the appropriate discussion has been had with staff now. They're aware of the issue and are looking into it. So, I would tend to leave it until the next council meeting maybe and have that further discussion. That'll be November 28th, I think. So, there'll be a healthy time frame under your belt by then. So, Councillor Post, go ahead.
I was just going to follow up, Mr. Mayor, to see if there was any motion needed from council tonight to carry on with that for Mr. Coslett to carry on that work.
No, staff have clear direction on that to be able to proceed with it. We will bring the information back to the November meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to new business. So I know council, this is our final meeting, and some of you would like to weigh in. The only new business I just wanted to mention was the hockey game on the weekend. That was fantastic. For those of you who attended, it's exciting to see that level of hockey being played in Orangeville. A number of councillors attended, as did I think about 900 people, and it was really exciting to see that kind of hockey played in Orangeville. Hopefully we can bring some junior hockey back in the future. Okay, Councillor Andrews, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to, before we have an opportunity maybe to share our thoughts, I just wanted to take a moment. I know members of council, staff, and many within our community are very much aware of the passing of Doc Gillies last week. An instrumental fixture within our community, a wonderful human being, and has given so much to our community over a number of decades, and our thoughts and prayers are with his family at this time.
Yes, thank you, Joe. I've talked to a number of people in the past few days, and although I've only met Mr. Gillies a handful of times, his impact on this town is extensive. His philanthropy, his business knowledge and understanding, and employment in the past is remarkable. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up, and our sincere condolences to the entire Gillies family. I did have a chance to speak to David at the Greenwood Cemetery the other day when he attended with the Deputy Premier, and I think Councillor Post was there and Councillor Sherwood as well, and the Deputy Mayor. We all had a chance to express our condolences to an immediate family member. Thank you. Okay, Council. Any comments and new business? We're all good. Okay. Oh, Councillor Post and then Councillor Sherwood. Go ahead, Councillor Post.
After all this time, you'd think I'd figure out how to unmute myself. Would this be our opportunity to make final comments? Is that what you're looking for now?
Yeah, okay. I think this is the insertion point here for.
Okay, perfect.
That's what the clerk had suggested. So
excellent. Yes. Then I will go ahead. I'd be happy to start. And if I could just say ditto to all of Mayor Brown's earlier comments, that's what I would do. It has been an absolute honor and privilege to serve our community in this capacity for the last 4 years, along an absolutely fantastic team. When I was just listening to Mayor Brown earlier talking about the Pullen Well and the start of the OPP costing, I actually can't believe that was 4 years ago, and yet it seems like the term has flown by. So I'm not sure how Pullen Well happened just 4 years ago when it feels like it could have been a lifetime ago. To the entire Town of Orangeville team, thank you for your support through this term, and thanks for making the community a better place for every resident each and every day. Thank you for being patient and understanding and providing your expertise, education, and guidance as our term of brand new, very green council members learn to navigate the municipal world. To all my colleagues on this council team, thank you. I've enjoyed working with each of you. And having respectful debate and discussion, both in chambers and virtually through Teams, which we've spent half of our council term on Teams. I have a great deal of respect for each of you, and I appreciate the time we've been able to serve together. Mayor Brown and Councillor Peters, it has been a pleasure to serve with both of you, and I wish you both the absolute best as you move forward. I know you'll be serving the community in some other capacity, and I'll definitely be watching to see what that is. And to each of you who is seeking re-election, I wish you all the best. So I'll keep my comments to that, and thank you all for a wonderful term.
Thank you, Councillor Post. Councillor Sherwood.
Yes, Your Worship. It's been a rewarding and a privilege to work with each member of this council team. We collectively should be so proud of what we've accomplished during this term of council. We certainly didn't expect to face the challenges of a global pandemic that changed our course. Our professionalism, collaboration, and decorum has restored the reputation of Orangeville Council, especially under the leadership of you, Mayor Brown. It has been an absolute pleasure to be part of this council team. I have learned so much from each of you and hope that we have a continued friendship after this. The town staff, words can't describe how lucky we are to have the professionals we have guiding the various departments supporting the needs of Orangeville. Their passion for their jobs is so evident. A special shout out to our previous clerk, Karen Landry, and our CAO, Ed Brandon. Your guidance assisted me in becoming a better counselor. Get well soon, Mr. Brennan. Thank you to those that have served, Mayor Brown, Councillor Peters, and good luck to those seeking re-election. I'm going to insert a sad face emoji here. Councillor Sherwood signing off.
Thank you, Councillor Sherwood, for your kind words. Very nice. Councillor Andrews, go ahead, sir.
Well, the deputy mayor was before me, so as we have been civil and cordial and professional, let's go in order.
Go ahead, Deputy Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you, Councillor Andrews. I was going to lose it there. I echo the mayor's and everybody else's thoughts. It's been a great term of council. We've gotten along. I'd like to thank staff. I'd like to thank all of the councillors. Just on a sad side note, I hear some prospective candidates out there just slamming us for some of the decisions we made. You know, the last 2 years, we brought in tax increases of below 1%, and that's in the middle of a pandemic. And, you know, without cutting any service or anything like that, I think we've done one heck of a job. So again, I'd like to congratulate council. Just this morning, I received a call from a prospective candidate, and he did nothing but criticize decisions that we've made. So for the public listening in or in the future, if they could just be careful, we've got a good council here. I know everyone's not coming back, but there's some council people out there that just are in it for themselves. I think everyone on this council has been in it for the town. And again, I'd like to thank everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Well, we know in our heart of hearts what we accomplished in this council term. Town staff knows what was accomplished, and most of the residents appreciate the work that we did. So thank you again, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you.
All right, Councillor Andrews, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. Where do I begin? From our first official council meeting in the fall of 2018, just after we were all sworn in as an elected member of Orangeville Council, I was so impressed, and I continue to be impressed, how each member of this team has been able to work and accomplish so much. Our mission was not only to represent the people of Orangeville, but to do so while acknowledging and applying civility, professionalism, and a commitment to get things done. Well, when I look back, we have done that, and in spades. I don't need to go through the list, as has been very kindly addressed by our worship and Mr. Osmond and many others, but I do hope that our community ends up taking a look at what has been accomplished. Who knew that a good portion of our term would be challenged with a global pandemic? Each one of us has rolled up our sleeves and ensured that despite having to hold our council meetings virtually, nothing would change, and it hasn't. We got things done for the betterment of our community. Quickly, I want to thank staff in every single department of our town. The GMs, the CAO, Ed Brennan. Without your support and our trust in each of you, we wouldn't be where we are today. To my fellow council members, I truly thank you for working together and for putting up with my sometimes lengthy questioning techniques. To Councillor Peters, who isn't seeking re-election, I want to truly thank you for your commitment to Orangeville, your insights in making Orangeville a sustainable and eco-conscious community. They are most noted, and I wish you and your family all the best. And to His Worship, Mayor Brown, I thank you for your leadership and guidance throughout this term. You indeed have steered this team through a lot, no matter how others have felt. You've done so for the goodness of our community, and this is something that I'm most grateful and proud of. So I wish all of those that are seeking election all the best. For those of us who are those that have served, thank you for what you've done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Andrews. Thank you very much. Councillor Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to staff in particular, thank you for taking a bunch of inexperienced but passionate individuals and turning us into what I would consider a successful council. I think everyone around the table knows how I feel about them, and it's mutual. There's a great respect there, and I think we got a lot done. So my best especially to Ed Brennan, who was an excellent captain of this voyage over the last 4 years. And I know we're thinking of him and hoping for an excellent recovery. So you won't get rid of me. I will be around. I very much enjoyed my time, and it was a great experience. I may be back at some point, but in the meantime, I'll still be getting my hands dirty and letting people know how I feel and how I think this town can improve. And you'll see me around. So good luck to everybody who's rerunning, and thank you, Mayor Brown, for your term as well. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Councillor Peters. Councillor Taylor.
I will do something that Joe Andrews never does, and that is I will be brief. Listen, everybody, in all seriousness, this is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It's hard to put yourself out in front of your neighbors and your friends and your family and be judged for how you position yourself on an issue. It's incredibly humbling. And in the end, what you decide is you just need to do what you think is best on the research that you've done. And I thought it was good that we had discourse. The very fact that we had it and did so respectfully makes me hold my head high. And I think when I look back on this period of my life, I'll be quite pleased with the group and an honor to be as part of that group, and pleased with the way I conducted myself. But I guess for me, I worked hard at this, as I know each of you did, but in all honesty, I got way more out of this job than I ever gave. Like it was a complete pleasure to me. And I don't know, we'll see each of you on the other side. And just Sandy, I don't know where I'll see you, but I'll be glad to see you when I do. And Grant, I am going to smoke you on the curling rink this winter. So anyway, just wanted to declare those things publicly. And it was just a great pleasure. So thank you to each of you, my friends.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor, and thank you once again to all of our council members for 4 exceedingly productive years on behalf of this community. When I was sitting reviewing this afternoon, that list I rattled off was not complete, and we really did get a lot done. Without the cooperation of our excellent staff, those things wouldn't have been accomplished. And hats off to staff and council for the collaboration, for the betterment of the community. It really, we've made a big difference here. There's been some, once in a lifetime opportunities that have come our way. One bad being the pandemic, which was handled, I think, as best as we possibly could collectively, with the chaos of the starts and stops and what have you. It put staff members under a lot of stress, I have no doubt. But we emerged. It's in the rearview mirror from what everybody's reporting. So thank heavens for that. But again, thank you to everyone. Thank you to staff, and we'll be around. I know Grant and I will be around in other community roles and helping out, and we love this community, and I'm sure the next council is going to pick up where we left off. There's certainly going to be 4, at least maybe 5 of you coming back, and so the spirit of this council is going to be carried forward into the next one. So thank you all, and best wishes as you take on your new roles come November. All right, that being over, Mr. Osmond, you wanted to make a comment, sir, or congratulate one of our staff members, I do believe. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship, for the opportunity to speak. And it's great to see and listen to how these wonderful relationships has been developed over time. I know you all know each other in the community, but when you're working for a community like you have and experience what you've experienced over the last 4 years, a lot of things go under the bridge, and it's really good to see and watch you guys in action and develop the relationships that you develop and you'll continue to develop going forward. But yes, I wanted to take the opportunity, it's kind of with mixed emotion, that myself as a certainly as first and foremost as in my GM role, welcomed this young lady to Orangeville just over 3 years ago. Andrea McKinney has been our general manager of corporate services. There she is. And I wanted to draw the analogy that we welcomed her to the dance floor. And anybody who knows me will probably see me, if they ever get to see me on a dance floor again, they know that I really enjoy it and put everything into the dance floor. And Andrea came to us and with a tremendous skills and leadership and vision for Orangeville, particularly in the digital world, but in all worlds in terms of the corporate service and what she can do to develop and make this organization stronger. And she certainly accomplished that. I want to thank her on behalf of our CAO again, Ed Brennan. And I want to thank her on behalf of every staff person in our organization, because corporate services by its very nature serves every staff person right to the front lines, whether they be part-time, casual, full-time, everyone, fire, whatever the case might be. So she really touch point would be everyone in the organization will certainly know Andrea and will definitely miss Andrea. A lot of things happen behind the scenes, as I said earlier, and Andrea brought a lot of leadership in terms of the digital transformations, yes, but she's increased a lot of communication. We've got a lot of, one of the things of this council was to prioritize communication and really build communication and strengthen our communication piece. And she's been a huge navigator, if you would, in that area. And that has come a long ways with our website and so on and so forth, but even more. She's also been involved just recently with the recruitment of a fantastic new manager in communications, and that's evolving and just wonderful. She supported all of our teams, not just council, but all of our teams in HR, of course, and finance, and the clerk's office, and the communications side. I want to bring a special thank you, Andrea, from our fire team. Our fire team over the last couple of years has been working with McMaster University that she introduced us to a number of years ago, or a couple of years ago now, in the area of trying to pilot a decontamination for firefighters, for suppression firefighters, not just when they go into a respond, but also when they get back from a fire, what they do in their vehicles, their equipment, and how they handle themselves, and how they decontaminate after an event. And we've done a lot of work in that regard, and it's also going to be seen in our new structure, a new fire station. But she also introduced us to an organization that deals with software called Mapped In. And Mapped In gives our firefighters the opportunity to see digitally where they're going, what the building looks like that they're responding to before they get there. So in the real vehicle, in real time, they're actually seeing on the screen, they're going to building ABC, the industry building or a public building, where it might be, and they can see that building on the screen, where the entrances are, where the exits are, where the equipment is, and so on and so forth in real time. And it's really phenomenal what that software will bring. And I will thank Andrea on behalf of the fire team, because he wanted me to do that. They've been working quite diligently on that particular project over the last number of years, and it's really come a long ways, and it's going to be seen in our operation for many years to come, and it's going to be a pilot, and not just for us. It's going to be something that I think is going to be adopted, hopefully, right across this province. Andrea, when you're on a dance floor dancing with somebody, and you'll all get this feeling sometimes. The person walks off the dance floor and leaves you by yourself and says, "Oh, what happened there? I'm left by myself. What do I do next?" And yeah, you left us with a lot of new tools and a lot of skill to our staff and so on and so forth. But we're going to miss you in this organizational dance we're in here. And I know you're going to be really, really successful in your new role wherever you go. You're not going to stop there. You will challenge yourself. You will continue to challenge yourself. Your vision will go far, and you will take whatever organization you touch going forward further. And we know you will do that. You've done a tremendous amount of work for us You know, I know you got to do what you got to do on your career journey, and I certainly wouldn't be getting in your way because it's something you got to do. But we will miss you. I will personally miss you. We've developed a relationship over the years, and it's been great having you here. So on behalf of the entire team, certainly your corporate team that you're most close to, I want to say thank you and congratulate you on your next move. Wish you all the best. And cheers. And until we meet again, take good care.
Thank you, Mr. Osmond.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Ms. McKinney, do you want to have a rebuttal here?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Osmond, that was quite touching. Thank you. I share your the appreciation for you, and certainly as a colleague and a peer. I love this town. Sorry. You guys are all great. Thank you for the support.
Okay. Thank you, Andrea. You've worked so well with this council. We, you know, all of the exciting digital transformation work that has been under your wing over the past 4 years has really put us, you know, really to the forefront now and where we should be as a municipality, as a progressive municipality. So thank you so much, and looking forward to hoisting a beer later this week in your honor. All right, councillors, I think that is it for our new business section, unless anybody's got any further comment they wish to make. No? Okay. So let's move on to question period. Madam Clerk or Mr. Hawkins, do you know if we have any questions from the public?
Your Worship, I'm not seeing any extra people connected.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to item 19. We have 3 bylaws. 19.1, a bylaw to establish a joint compliance audit committee. 19.2, a bylaw to authorize the extension of the service agreement with Highlands Youth for Christ. And 19.3, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Orangeville at its regular council meeting held on September 26, 2022. We have a motion to approve these 3 bylaws. Councillor Post, second by Councillor Andrews. Any further comments? All in favor? All right, and a motion to adjourn, please. Councillor Taylor, second by Deputy Mayor McIntosh. All in favor? All right, everyone. We did good work. Thank you again for all the support from staff, and we'll see you around town, folks. All the best. Bye-bye.
Have a good night,
Night,
guys.
everyone. Night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.